I mentioned own the table, but my three most important are owning your courage. Own your courage. You have to have courage in order to motivate yourself to step out on that limb and do something different. And I think particularly as women and people of color in particular, we don't have the courage sometimes to do something different because we haven't been in that space. We haven't been in that arena. It's okay being the first. Just make sure you're not the last. It's okay being the only one. Just make sure you're bringing another one with you. And you're opening that door. That's the courage that you have to have. But if you have the courage, then you have to own your voice. You have to be able to speak up and speak out for what it is that you want in order to make a difference. We don't go to work just to go to work. We're there because we want to, contribute to what's going on in our business. And we also want to be able to rise. In order for us to rise, we have to be able to own our voice. We have to be prepared. We have to know what it is that we're doing. And then the third most important one for me is owning your identity. If we don't own our identity as women first, as black people, as white people, as Latinas, as Asians, whatever we are, from the LGBTQ plus community, if you're not owning your identity, then what are you doing? You're leaving yourself at home. You're going out into the world being empty and not giving your true self. And so we have to be able to own our identity to be able to make an impact. Hey, back there, how y'all doing? I see y'all. In order to really be impactful and make a difference. And if you can do all of those, then you can own the possibilities. Because the possibilities are endless. And I know sometimes we say we definitely want to do something, but oh, they're not going to let me do that, or that's not for me. Oh, well, woe is me. But you have to have a plan. And you may not accomplish that plan, but at least if you have goals set, it'll allow you to work a little bit differently, give a little more effort, have a little more passion, and really care about what it is that you're doing and you're trying to accomplish. I talk about as being women in particular that in order for us to move up in a lot of positions is that we have to rely on our male counterparts at work. We need to find a sponsor that's going to bring us forward, lift us up, and put our names out there. That sponsor that believes in who you are and what you're doing in order for you to be able to put your foot in the door. And we have to do that. We need to have those relationships with some of those male leaders in our companies and organizations, because sometimes we're just sitting back and complaining, but we don't have a plan to stop complaining and actually being proactive and active in what we're doing. And so in that process, as women, once we get to the C-suite, once we get to a certain managerial level, then we have to be mentors to others to make sure that we're pulling other women in and making sure that they're advancing. There was a time period, and in some cases it still is, but once the female got to the top, we were fighting for our own space and our own position, that we didn't want to bring someone else in because we didn't want that woman to take our place. That still happens in a lot of places, but it's changing. It has changed, and we own that responsibility to make sure that it's changing, that we are reaching back and pulling forward to make sure that we're opening the doors and we're multiplying those opportunities, whether they're for women or for minorities or whatever. And then I will say, you're often a minority too. How many times you walk in a room full of women and you feel uncomfortable and you walk in and you go, oops. Right? Your wife is hosting a dinner party or whatever, you go in and you're like, I don't want any of that. Right? So, we have all experienced being the only one of something, whether the only one of your race, ethnicity, gender, whatever that might be. But recognize, go in there with confidence and start to communicate and make friends. I always say, too often we'll go into a reception, a meeting, and we don't know the people that are there. But in today's world, shame on you. Because you got an email that's telling you who's going to be there. And you can Google these people, you can go to LinkedIn, you can find out something that you have that's similar, right? And break the ice. hey, I heard you play tennis, or your daughter plays tennis. I play tennis too. And this may be the CEO of the company that you would be never, ever in a million years go up to and say hello to. But because there's something that you can talk about, oh wow, you went to X college or university. I went there, or my cousin, or somebody. That's the way that you kind of break the ice in these places so that you don't feel like you're going in sweating. Your armpits are already sweating, so let's go in there and try to cool them off in those situations. But there's a lot of things that are in here that are reflective of my life, growing up through tennis, and how those different experiences prepared me for experiences as an adult and then ultimately as a leader. You know, my obligation, owning the obligations, and reaching back and pulling forward is being the executive director of the Harlem Junior Tennis and Education Program. It's a program very similar to what I grew up in Chicago. And somebody was there to pull me forward. And it's my obligation, it's my staff's obligation to make sure we're reaching back and pulling forward. So I've been there 16 years. I had a hiatus for 4 or 5 years while I was at the USTA. I was fortunate enough, my board didn't want to let me go completely. So they made provisions for me to be able to go out and do what I was doing. And then if I wanted to come back, it was there, and if I didn't, then they would go in a different direction. But of course I wanted to come back, because why wouldn't I? I'm making a difference and really seeing these kids excel. Yes, we have changed, our program has changed over the years, but we're celebrating 50 years this year. Wow. 50 years. Our 50th anniversary gala is June 13th, so make sure you take one of these, and hopefully we'll see you all there. And if you can't come, maybe you'll drop $1 or $2 online for us or in the mail, because we have a registration fee, but our program is free. And we basically, you know, all of our coaches are certified. We pay them. We want these kids to have the best experience. Our kids are getting college scholarships. Our kids are going everywhere from community college all the way up to the Ivy League and everything in between. And it's because of the caring coaches and staff and trainers that we have that are inspiring these kids every day to be their best selves. I was that kid. And so I know the importance of having organizations like mine, and there are many more around the city of Chicago, Chicago too, but the city of New York, and around the country, that are servicing these kids and putting them on a pathway to be successful in life. And so in saying that, I want to thank USA Eastern. There are about 20 people here. And USCA and Metro. These are organizations that are supporting programs like mine in the city. I'm not the only tennis program around, but it's so important, because you never know, and this is when I used to be humble. You never know when the next Cat Adams is going to come out of one of these programs, but it's true. I used to never talk about myself, and I know my friends and staff in here know that, but I've been forced to talk about myself, because once you write a book, you're an open book. Yes. So I will pause. I don't want to tell too much more. I mean, hopefully there are some questions in the audience. I'm happy to answer them. And if you have not gotten your book personally signed to you, there's already an inscription when you picked it up when you came in. Please come up after the Q&A, and I will personally sign them. If you want a photo or what have you, I'm happy to do that. But this is inspiring to me to really have each of you here, and thank you. I hope you enjoyed the book. How many people have actually read the book already? Great. So for those of you that haven't, I hope you find something that resonates with you or someone else, and please pass the book on to someone. No, actually buy another book. Buy another book. The paperback came out last month, so if you don't want the weight of traveling, pick up a paperback and slide it in your purse. It's all good. It won't fit in the gentleman's inside pocket, but it'll fit in your little computer bag or whatever that is. So, questions?